This is what college football looks like, and it's the same everywhere. Good times eating, drinking, and we all sort of pretend like we know what the hell's gonna happen. So even though I'm in New York and not on campus, all season long, I'm eating, drinking, and figuring out what the hell's gonna happen in the games of the week. This is Easy Call.
This is Van Horn's Sandwich Shop, so that means beer and southern sandwiches in an awesome Brooklyn backyard.
Yes. All right, game number 1, week 4, non-traditionally interesting. Michigan State going to Notre Dame. Keys for Michigan State, Connor Cook making his first start against an FBS team. Needs to be mistake-free and test the Notre Dame secondary a little bit. Not the best, struggled against Purdue. Number 2, that Michigan State front needs to panic and pressure Tommy Rees. It's fun to say because it's going to happen. Shalik Calhoun, it's a dangerous man. And finally, number 3, Michigan State. The Spartans need to take advantage, field position opportunities, Notre Dame turnovers. They need to take advantage of times where they can ugly this game up, get into the end zone from like a 14-yard drive. That can happen against Notre Dame. For the home team, Notre Dame, a clean, mistake-free Tommy Rees. He's forged a legitimate connection with Davaris Daniels. Take advantage of that, keep that rhythm going. Number 2, like we said, it's Connor Cook's first game against an FBS team, and it's Louis Nix and Stephon Tuitt and Prince Shembo. Make him upset, make him scared. They can do that. They've done it to lesser quarterbacks, and we don't even know how good Connor Cook is. And finally, number 3, Notre Dame needs to get anything on the ground. Something. Cam McDaniel? Sure. Amir Carlisle? Sure. Inconsistent offensive line? Also sure. Notre Dame is favored by a touchdown here. There's too many questions for both teams. I'm going to take the points here. Michigan State loses, but by like a field goal, 17-14. Now I'm going to win because this is a fried fish sandwich. Got some spicy slaw, we got some homemade pickles, and just flaky and falling apart this fish. Just a sweet roll. It's like I'm on a dock in North Carolina. The fresh catch. It's crunchy, but it's not too battery. I really like that it's not thick and goppy. Pickle game is strong. Game number 2, and it used to be fun during Hate Week, but now Florida's a 14-point favorite against Tennessee, and Tennessee's not all that good coming off of like an 80-point shellacking against Oregon. Keys for Tennessee against still a questionable Florida team. Take shots on both sides of the ball. On offense, take shots downfield. We saw Stephen Morris succeed early on. It's not like Justin Worley is the greatest quarterback in the world, but he can throw it, go downfield. Number 2, take shots on defense against Jeff Driscoll. He is somebody that is prone to turnovers. Why not help him with that? And finally, you need to be efficient on first and second down if you're the Vols, because Florida doesn't let anybody convert third downs. Be happy with 4 yards. Be happy with 5 yards. Be happy with 3 yards. Get to third and manageable. For Florida, the 14-point favorite, they need to throw the ball, here it is again, downfield. Jeff Driscoll does a pretty good job. They just don't have that game. Tennessee has a bad enough defense where you can do that. Next for Florida, they need to hold up against a good Tennessee offensive line to prevent those chunks on first and second down. And finally, complete drives. Red zone stuff, it's been an issue. That looks ridiculous. Wow, that's mac and cheese. Red zone has been ridiculous for Florida. They need to finish drives, be disciplined, not give the ball away. Easier said than done as they gave it away like 19 times against Miami. I'm going to take Florida here just because I think there's more to like on both sides of the ball. 27-13, well, I guess that's 14 points. 28-13, they barely cover. I hate that pick. Going with the Gators still though. But I love this pick. Mac and cheese. You got crumbles everywhere. Big points. You got shaved cheese on top, you got scallions. This is the best mac and cheese in New York. Yeah. Oh, the crumbles make this thing. The breadcrumbs. All right, let's go to the far west coast, Palo Alto, California, home of ASU, Stanford. Stanford, the home team, giving 8 points. Keys for ASU, need to be productive on first and second downs, just like that Tennessee-Florida game. Stanford, great on third downs. That defense is ridiculous. Number 2 for ASU, got to win battles up front on defense. Big Will Sutton is going to need to carry this team. I do like the Carl Bradfords of the world for ASU, but it's going to have to happen inside against that big Stanford offensive line. And finally, they're going to have to play with meaningful tempo. The spread has to work. They don't need to go for too much, but they need to wear down that Stanford front. For Stanford, very basic. They need to get it over the top, get that outside playmaker going in Ty Montgomery. They need to run the ball and just do what they do, but do it off tackle because Will Sutton's a bad man, but ASU run D, still not all that great. And finally, tackle well in the open field against dangerous people like Marion Grice and DJ Foster because they're dangerous. Oh my God, that's dangerous. That's a BLT. Let's keep the mac and cheese. Let's keep this. I'm gonna want that later. But Stanford favored by 8 here. It's a tough line. I'm going to give the points just because I'm going to buy into the home team. Let's go 34-21 Cardinal in a tight game for a little while, but the fourth quarter is all Stanford. This BLT. You got some pimento cheese. You got some bacon. You got some great local bread. Actually, the bread makes this one. Really, really good bread. It is a nice blanket of comfort surrounding an otherwise dangerous world. Okay, back to the SEC. Auburn going to LSU. A more interesting game than we probably thought a few weeks ago with Auburn now 3-0. Auburn's keys, they've got 3 decent enough running options. Take advantage of that. We saw TCU have some success on the edge. Do more of that. Auburn also has to take some chances against an improved Zach Mettenberger. They don't blitz a ton in that 4-2-5, so they're going to have to take chances against that offense. And finally, play with some tempo. LSU's defense is talented and awesome, but still relatively inexperienced. Force them to get tired. Aw, yeah, crown jewel, chicken sandwich. We got some hot sauce. I'm gonna get into that in a second. This is really difficult to do. The keys for LSU, run straight at Auburn. The defense is going to be better. They've recruited well on defensive line, but LSU has like 5 ridiculous options. Go straight at them. Number 2, feed the beasts on the outside. Jarvis Landry already having an amazing season. Odell Beckham Jr. just doing what he does. Feed those beasts. And finally, John Chavis is wearing LSU colors. Send men at Nick Marshall. He's still a converted corner. Make him confused and vulnerable and scared. That's what they should do. 16.5 points, go LSU. Look at this thing. This is a monster. Oh my God. That is perfect fried chicken. So you have the slaw on here, you got the pickle game, strong as ever. Life is really good right now. Ooh, Mountain West connection time. We have Boise State traveling to Fresno State, the San Joaquin Valley. Boise State 4-point favorites on the road. Boise State coming off a nice win against Air Force. The keys for the Broncos, DeMarcus Lawrence and that defensive line, they need to bother the hell out of Derek Carr because that is a productive quarterback if we've ever seen one. Number 2, feed Jay Ajayi. Nothing more than that. Just keep feeding him on the ground. The running back, he's going to be great. And finally, number 3, open field tackling against a Fresno State team that, yes, they pass the ball a lot, but it's not always hugely downfield. It's not always for 70 yards to Devontae Adams. Tackle well in the open field on those screens and short passes. Fresno State keys. They're at home. Feed Devontae Adams. He's the best offensive weapon they have, and Derek Carr is a really good quarterback. Get him the ball early and often. Number 2, get a push on that defensive line. Tyler Davison's a really good defensive lineman. Hide that secondary. Without Phillip Thomas gone to the NFL, it's not what it was last season. And 3, finally, play quickly. Fresno State needs to play with tempo. We saw how the Broncos reacted against Washington, which is to say, not well. All that said, I'm taking Boise State on the road here. I really like the rhythm they got into against Air Force. Final score is 31-24 here. Broncos, Boise State at night in the Mountain West. Let's do that. But now, we have Tire Fires. Ty Hildenbrandt from the internet, Solid Verbal, has the Tire Fires of the week, so I'm going to join him in there for alcohol, because that's what you need when discussing Virginia Tech.
All right, Dan, I want you to sit there. I want you to drink away your sorrows. But listen, drink that beer knowing that it could always be worse. You could be a fan of Virginia Tech. Are you aware of Virginia Tech this year? 108th in the nation in total offense. 108th. Gone are the days of that dynamic rushing attack when they used to have Lee Suggs and Kevin Jones and Darren Evans and all these other people. Not so much. It's not happening this year. They need to get better, and they can't let their defense do all the work if they want to win any games, especially as they get into that ACC schedule. Also, how about Penn State's third down offense? You know anything about that? Let's drink to that. Penn State, 4 of 34 on third downs this season. Everyone's all excited about Christian Hackenberg and Allen Robinson. Hey, I'm excited too, but only on first and second down. 4 for 34, not good enough. Sorry, not going to win many games in the Big Ten until you do. And finally, this is a Rutgers town. Rutgers has more penalties than any FBS program in all of college football, 29 to be exact. They average more in penalty yardage per game than the rushing attacks of 7 FBS programs. That's horrible. So it's a crappy week.
Yeah.
But let's take solace in the fact that we're not Virginia Tech.
No.
Let's drink it out.
All right, Michigan State, Stanford, Florida, LSU, Boise State are the picks. 10-5 on the season. Start making money. Thanks to the awesome Ty Hildenbrandt. I'm going to give in to my fried chicken coma now. We'll see you next week.